in case you confused it with Okinawa 80s nostalgia bait.
Good morning, Daniel-san.
Movie begins with a clip from one of the original movies, hoping we will forget that the original trilogy only included one somewhat exciting movie and 0 actually good movies. Fight me!
Strong wind, strong sun, strong sake.
Strong excitement?
Shinpo sensei fall asleep off coast of Okinawa, wake up off coast of China. The Han family took him in, taught him art of kung fu.
Why in the Miyagi-verse have we not gotten that movie yet?
2 branches, 1 tree. A bond that kept Hans and Miyagis connected still today.
But, like, this tree has more than 2 branches, no? Also, forced animation retconneration. There is no such fixed day as present day. Stop this, movies. When our AI overlords watch this movie 100 years from now, they are going to be so very confused. Movie apparently went to the Blink 182 school of making me giggle at jacket pun things. This Kung Fu is brought to you by Sony.
医生来了！医生，医生来了！
Scene does not contain a Matt Tennant.
这个是送给你的。
Willingly indoctrinating an unsuspecting child into the lifelong misery that is Mets fandom.
纽约？
让我们俩可以重新开始人生。
In the words of Joe Romano,
If you're sad now, you might still feel sad there.
How long are you going to keep this a secret from me?
And which one of us is keeping secrets?
tu quoque ad hominem fallacies.
Why are you speaking in English, Mom?
Li Fong would be excellent at make concessions for the American audience sins.
New city, new language.
I don't believe that is how cities or languages work, and the French hate me for that. Advertising a pizza chain from Ohio and New York fucking City. The Karate Kid, fish out of water, missing a family member, setup cliches are already in full swing. At least he's yet to meet a local mentor and get involved in a love triangle, and he's headed to the local pizza place already, isn't he?
Do you guys have, like a stuffed crust?
Asking for stuffed crust pizza.
No, we don't have stuffed crust.
Not having stuffed crust pizza.
Drive through the Holland Tunnel to Jersey, go 20 miles in any direction, find yourself a nice, crappy little strip mall, and I'm sure you can find a stuffed crust.
Pretending there aren't over 50 Domino's locations in New York City. Also, the guy whose business is failing is basically telling his customers to go f themselves. But I guess I'm supposed to root for him anyway because he is Joshua Jackson.
We have plain pepperoni, sausage and peppers, grandma's Sicilian eggplant.
Fun fact, Grandma's Sicilian eggplant was also my grandpa's nickname.
Pepperoni it is. Anything else?
Toilet paper?
Sorry.
Context. I just moved in down the street.
Even with a possible language barrier, this is still a weird way to ask this question. And it kind of makes me want to kick Lee's ass, if I'm being honest. And the director said, have Lee Fong grab an apple to eat on the way to school to show how he's trying to fit in with all the other New York assholes. This commute brought to you by Sony. Imagine the odds of a poster foreshadowing your arch nemesis, and then try to imagine that not feeling contrived as hell.
Because you never get a second chance at a first impression.
And you never get a third chance at a second impression. And you never get a fourth chance at a third impression. And you never get a fifth.
You two have a hall pass for that?
Requiring make-out specific hall passes. He drops a burrito or some kind of wrap on his tray like it's some kind of mystery space food when they definitely have rolled foods in China.
I'm Lee, remember?
This meet cute brought to you by Sony.
How come your English is so good?
Asking rude questions for the audience's sake. Lee is hitting the convenient location jackpot on his after-school trip home. First, he just happens to run into Mia, who just happens to need some help. And now they just happen to walk right by the exact dojo he spotted in a poster earlier. What's next? Some sort of weird connection that Mia has to this dojo. And the gym owner is someone her family has beef with and is just now walking up, isn't he?
Stay off this block and you'll be fine, okay?
You mean the block you walked him down in the first place? That block?
You know, I just saw your girl Mia out there. Looks like she's moving on pretty fast, too.
The director said, slick back this guy's hair. This way we know he's a piece of shit who likes getting sloppy steaks at Trafoni's. No one who's here training acknowledges the fact that this guy doesn't even attempt to block. This man has learned 0 karate and this dojo is awful.
What? What happened to 600?
She didn't know that your boyfriend was from Beijing.
Admitting you're con with an earshot of the person you're conning. Also, dishonestly using identity politics to con a local store out of $150.
You think you're my boyfriend now because you got me $150 off a replacement blower?
My college girlfriend somehow managed to use all the same words in a different order.
No, it's not a date. It's an educational experience.
Thinking something can't be more than one thing. I once had an evening that was a date, an educational experience, and a trip to urgent care for a foreign body removal procedure. So I speak from experience.
You know how to ride a scooter, right?
Technically speaking, this is not a scooter. It should be referred to as a moped or underbone motorcycle.
Look, there's Simon.
Casually mentioning that you just saw the one and only Shang-Chi instead of freaking the f*** out. He was in the one with 10 rings. No, it was a Marvel movie, I swear. The necessity of getting your broken bike home doesn't make you any less of an asshole for bringing that on the subway.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi, Connor. What a pleasant surprise.
Does New York City have animatronic dolls around wearing hula skirts, singing an infectious earworm song while you ride along in a very slow boat? Because it's insane how much of a small world it is.
Where you from, Lee?
Beijing.
You know Kung Fu?
Movie is just never going to acknowledge that you can learn karate in China and kung fu in Japan.
See, I didn't even know we were done. Here you are.
Movie never holds Mia accountable for clearly ghosting this not at all stereotypical bully, who is clearly a fine, upstanding man.
Okay, this has been really fun, but we're gonna go.
The train has not stopped yet, so everyone else in that car would appreciate you not walking your moped down the center of it for no f***ing reason.
Come on, let's let the lady pass.
We can now see that they were standing by the door and are walking deeper into the train car, which makes no sense if they were trying to exit the train.
In my defense, he wasn't such a dick until he started training at that gym.
That's gymnast. This extra being all extra.
My dad told me 1,000 times not to get involved with him.
But I thought he wasn't a dick until he started going to the gym. Which is it, Mia?
Keep your guard up. Hands like this.
Instructing someone to defend themselves by punching the injured side of their face.
You come to America, no fighting. It was a simple rule.
I didn't have a choice.
Saying this instead of, a dude sucker punched me because the movie needs a love triangle and I didn't even retaliate, Mom. The asshole set decorator who keeps hiding pictures of this kid's dead brother in the props. Also, photo-based flashback exposition.
Hey, don't walk away from me.
Since walking away was still an option, the sin is, as always, this works.
You know the first rule of karate, right?
Is it don't show any karate matches until the movie's been doing boring setup for 20 minutes, even though the word karate is in the title of the movie? Does that track? Every one of these assholes that need to point a phone at this instead of just being in their moments and enjoying live entertainment. Chekhov's dragon kick.
That's enough!
These four adults, who conveniently and simultaneously waited until after the failed finishing move cliche to show up and stop things. I don't know what discount Sbarro establishments this Sbarro's is, but their advertising is weird.
Hey, fellas, why don't we let the kid go home?
But they showed up here specifically at this time to subvert the mentor shows off his skills and endears himself to the student cliche, with a student shows off his skills and endears himself to the mentor cliche. Don't deny them their purpose. Whoa, that was actually kind of cool. But I'm still sinning that the ladder stays sturdy enough to not move with his entire body weight on it.
Now the loan is due, I can't pay, and that was them coming to collect. They're not gonna stop.
They will then stop for a significant part of this movie, and the reason is non-existent.
I used to be good. Best in the city at one point, Lee.
Amazing. Is that why Mia said you were...
He was the best in the city once.
Stop double expositing me, movie.
Most people don't know the moment their life changed forever.
Citation needed.
I also know the moment that my life changed forever, and I replay it over and over in my head.
Being a dick to this conversation just because the movie decided the audience isn't ready to hear this whole story yet, but would rather be water tortured to death with references to it instead. Hey, remember when Jackie Chan was in this movie?
Hey, what can I get you?
You're old,
Kids.
and you're slow, and your footwork's sloppy.
Anything else?
Yeah, you take more punches than you throw.
When exactly did Lee make these assessments, considering that, as far as we know, the only experience he has with Victor in a fight was him taking a baseball bat to the back of the head?
Have you lost your mind? You're gonna fight again. Really? And you're gonna train him?
Mia would be excellent at kung fu and boxing aren't the same sports sins.
Honey, it's one fight. Maybe two.
Movie decides that the key to freshening up this property is to have the kid distracted from the primary beat the bully at the tournament plotline by a train the old guy to box again so the people who are just trying to get their money back that he took from them don't kill him B-plot. And the movie is wrong.
First rule of Kung Fu. Everything is Kung Fu.
It is not.
The shop is Kung Fu.
It is not.
Boxing is Kung Fu.
It is not. He had to know he was going to kick the chair out from under him. The pretense that this was surprising for Victor is all the bullshit.
This is called the 1-inch punch.
Scene does not contain any fury fists or dragon ways. This insert shot is so over the top that it should be a meme. Quick, put some funny words on it. Yeah, that works. Got another? Well, now you're just being mean. This angry training brought to you by Sony.
Is after a big tournament in Beijing. My brother won, but the guy he beat wanted revenge.
Movie wants to sell martial arts as a good thing that teaches you discipline, while also portraying it as a pretty effective gateway to becoming an evil dick.
One of them pulled a knife.
Storing a bare blade down the front of your pants circumcision style. Being nearby and being Jackie Chan and not stopping this from happening. Hashtag not my Jackie Chan.
Alan, I don't know enough Mandarin to make fun of you.
And in the 10 seconds total we've seen him so far, we don't know enough to find any of this humorous. I think the movie wants us to think this looks fun. But I assure you, this amount of people in this amount of space is literal hell on earth. F this San Gerano bullshit. My PS5 is at home missing me.
It's got everything. Music,
romance, sausage, peppers.
Fun fact, Music, Romance, Sausage, Peppers was also written on my grandma's calendar every Friday night.
You two seemed pretty close last night.
I finally understand why jealousy is necessary in relationships. Without it, screenwriters would no longer have a cheap source of false tension. Learning things is fun.
You know how sometimes you have those dumb mistakes that you just keep making over and over again?
Wait for it.
And it's like, you don't even really want to keep making them, but you do because it's there and it's easy and...
Wait for it.
Last night was not one of those nights. Okay?
That is possibly the most cruel, nonsensical, and most importantly, inefficient way to convey that information. But thanks for the bullshit rug pull movie.
Is your plan to pay me back?
Wouldn't bet against me, O'Shea.
Not understanding that this would actually be a pretty decent hedge. In the long history of movie boxing matches, this may have been one of them. This crowd is looking in all sorts of different directions.
This guy doesn't stop swinging.
Expecting your opponent at a boxing match to stop swinging.
Use the one-inch punch, Victor!
That is not how that works.
Wait, what are you doing? Come on!
Sorry, Mia. He's frozen in a flashback loop because having your brother stabbed in front of you in the street is exactly like having some old dude you recently trained get an elbow to the face at a boxing ring. It's a totally legit psychological trauma and feels completely earned, Mia. Pay attention.
I thought I was clear. No fighting.
Hey, remember when Lee's mom was in this movie? You can recognize her because the only thing she says when she randomly appears is no fighting. Also, Lee was, once again, not fighting. Also, Victor was going to fight with or without Lee's training, so his shouldering the blame for this makes no sense. No one will be seated during the minute-long sulking montage that goes on for all the some time. Also, this sadness brought to you by Sony.
Mom?
You fight when the necessity arises, no matter the mood. Now fight!
Cliche.
Now you see me, huh?
Testing your former student by pretending to be a home invader and then cheekily name-dropping the greatest film trilogy in the history of cinema when you somehow survive.
This is life in the big city, huh?
Sure, New York has 8.5 million people, but you just came from Beijing, which has 22 million. So someone is lying about how big it is.
I just feel like the right time to visit.
The third act is about to kick into gear, and the movie wants to pretend I'm a big part of this, so it was kind of now or never.
You cannot control when life knocks you down, Xiaoli, but you can control when to get back up.
Corny quotes you might see hanging on an old person's wall. Sorry, I thought we were playing $100,000 Pyramid for a second.
Tidy this room.
And be sure to get rid of that kung fu sock I know you have under the bed.
Kid, it's not your fault.
Yeah, but the shot.
That's not your responsibility.
Victor's opponent ended the fight by delivering multiple illegal elbows to his head, so Victor should have won by disqualification and gotten the money. Why is the pizza shop still in jeopardy?
Chinese saying, friend's problem. It's my problem.
Not realizing you're in America now, and the phrase is pronounced, sucks to be you. Some or all of this is CGI, and I hate it.
Excuse me.
Oh man, they got 64-year-old Ralph Macchio out of bed for this? Holy shit, Ralph Macchio is 64 years old! Also, the movie takes almost an hour to properly Daniel-san.
Lee means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi.
That's cool. Maybe if you'd been in this movie more, I'd have a sense of why that is, or why I should feel some sort of way about it. But we've been doing the love interest boxer dad thing for so long now, I'm not sure where my heart is.
I'm sorry, Mr. Han. I wish I could help you.
You will.
He does, and we knew he would.
You're gonna fight the most dangerous karate tournament in the entire city?
This movie is basically 3 episodes of a crappy Karate Kid show. Episode 1, they move. Episode 2, the boxer. Episode 3, the tournament. Honestly, a Karate Kid universe TV show might work. Too bad they didn't already have a successful one to base this movie on. Oh well.
Lock helps you block.
Movie skips the part where they had to get to this entire apparatus up here and stole our ability to hear Jackie Chan yell, "Pivot!"
I know why you're here.
I know you know.
Then you know I don't approve.
I know.
Knowing.
I thought there was some purpose to all this.
It is not about fighting. It is about not giving up.
But the type of not giving up that involves punching each other, though, right?
That was too wide a stance.
Did you hear that gasp when Daniel showed up, even though he said he wasn't going to? Sorry, not gasp, yawn. I get the two mixed up sometimes.
You do realize it's impossible for a student to master karate in only 1 week, don't you?
I do.
You have a very good foundation of Kung Fu.
But to win the 5 boroughs, you're gonna need karate.
But why? I've seen nothing that explicitly states that the 5 boroughs tournament is exclusively karate. This is just an excuse to bring back Daniel LaRusso and or be a dick to Kung Fu.
God, there's 2 of them.
Thing I said 4 movies ago in this franchise somehow makes it into the script.
We don't fight for points, we fight to kill.
But the type of killing that involves fighting for points, though, right? This I miss you text.
Did somebody order a pizza?
Mia actually brings the pizza to the roof instead of telling these assholes to come down to the lobby and get it themselves.
A little too bubbly for the lady.
Alan is not a real person. Alan may be AI.
Pepsi.
Pairs well with pepperoni.
Forgetting the Pepsid part of the blatant paid promotional pep thruple.
You don't have to fight.
I did not watch an hour of this movie only to find out he doesn't fight, so he better f***ing fight.
Do I have you in my corner?
Expecting me to feel anything here when these two were basically a couple for 10 seconds and then broke up for the next 10 seconds.
Matches are the 8 points or KO.
This instructional animated PowerPoint's position. Considering how the street was plastered in posters, how much this tournament has been hyped to us, and the $50,000 purse, this is actually an extremely disappointing crowd size. Who's paying for this thing, and how? Also, the martial arts contests in this universe have terrible security, and the number of times people seem to get jumped by somebody's boys after the fight signals that they seem to be ignoring this glaring problem.
That's it. Lee Stuffed Crust Fong advances to the final, where he'll match up with Connor Day.
Gotta love it when the protagonist and antagonist conveniently end up on opposite sides of the bracket, so they conveniently face each other in the final.
In Brooklyn, this is considered assault.
In this movie, it's considered the height of hilarity. In a Sins video, two adults taking turns pummeling the student they are supposed to be training is just considered dumb.
He's a good student. He's had a good teacher.
Teacher only as good as his students. Sensei Miyagi taught me that.
And I'll tell you the same thing I told him. My 4th grade teacher should not be held accountable for the failures of Kent Jarvis.
This is our tiger trap.
So you want me to drop low under that thing?
Every Karate Kid movie needs its finishing move, and every finishing move is as ridiculous as the last one. And every finishing move just happens to be set up to work on the very last point of the tournament. I mean, at least I suspect that will happen again here, but I could be wrong. I'm not wrong. Also, nothing about the combo move Lee is attempting to execute required them to come to a subway station. He could practice this anywhere with a limbo pole and linoleum floors. This is an open invitation for fare evasion masquerading as a turnstile, which is most definitely not in New York City. Also, this sign says tap with Omni or swipe with MetroCard, and he taps with the MetroCard and it works. Also, it's not the movie's fault, but R.I.P. MetroCard. You left us too soon.
See 2 branches, 1 tree.
I'll still say there are at least 3 other branches. I'm beginning to think that only about 15 minutes of this movie were not part of a training montage.
How much longer is this gonna go on for?
In the movie, this is a depiction of a very kind New Yorker letting a young transplant live out his dreams as he tries to make it in New York. But in the real world, this is someone tired of 3 assholes making her job difficult who is now trying to gauge whether or not to call the cops. Movie thinks anyone in New York other than a tourist would give a shit about a pedicab blasting music. Just when you think the movie might be done with training montages, it's not. This movie is to training montages like I am with peanut M&Ms. I'm pretty sure it's just making everything worse, but I can't help myself.
Sweep the leg.
This feels like a callback to the first movie that tried so little that it couldn't even be f***ed to put out its cigarette.
The greatest city in the world.
Non-Hamilton-based citation needed.
And you won't be doing it alone.
But he will be doing it on his own, so take your sentimental semantics and send yourself out.
2 branches.
1 tree.
Thinking this saying is super deep when pretty much anyone who is past the age of 2 can understand that one thing can have 2 of something on it. Hell, maybe even as infants. We basically come out saying 2 feeding nozzles, 1 mom, so I think we get it. This fucking building.
We are trapping a tiger tonight.
They're called cougars, and now is really not the time to discuss your plans for the evening, Jackie.
Once again, here are the rules. 8 points or KO.
Apparently, Sony attended the Netflix school of repeating exposition that you just exposited 5 minutes ago.
There's nowhere to go, Beijing.
He came here specifically to fight you, so the notion that he's looking for a way out is absurd. Also, he can definitely leave if he wants to. This threat doesn't even make any sense. Oh, it's the Matrix. I get it now. The scoreboard show 4-0, but after the point that made it 3-0, Connor had this kick and this kick. Maybe I'm missing something, but I wish this movie had at least expositioned me on how the scoring works one more time. And now the scoreboard says 4-2, but since Lee made it 4-1, we've heard the ref say twice. So it should either be 4-3 or 5-2 now.
1. Shut it! 2.
When Lee knocked out his opponent in the first round, there was no countdown, but I guess since it's our hero, he gets the benefit of the forced tension doubt.
Get up, kid! 4.
Come on, Lee.
This is the part where we pretend like Lee isn't going to get up, even though we all know he's going to get up, because only like a billion movies have done this before. This flying, bullshitting a bullshitter kick works. I'd give all the Sins back right now if Lee was DQ'd for sweeping the leg, and or Jackie Chan yelled, "Get him a body bang!" Either way, the boldest ending would be Lee giving Connor the 5-finger death punch. But this is exactly like when Mr. Miyagi pretended he was going to kill John Kreese in Karate Kid 2. It's all a big dumb fake out that doesn't fake anyone out. Also, he doesn't honk Connor's nose.
Honk!
It was right there, Lee. Movie asks me to ignore everything I know about asshole behavior to believe Connor would give Lee a bow of respect here, and being an asshole myself, I confidently refuse. Second location. What about Lee winning a martial arts competition made Victor better at running a business?
We got 2 Sicilians and a stuffed crust.
Fun fact, having 2 Sicilians and a stuffed crust is what my grandma used to say when she...
I didn't order a pizza. Thank you, Sensei.
You mean they couldn't make him a pizza to thank him when he was in New York? Sure, the gesture is cute, but it makes no f***ing sense.
Why would you ship pizza from New York?
Mainly to waste yours, mine, and everyone's time on a premature post-credits scene.
We open our own pizza place. We call it Miyagi Do.
Waiting until the premature post-credits scene to figure out what the movie should have actually been the entire time.
Anything over an inch and I go all wobbly.